Welcome race fans to NAGP TV. I'm Jack Ivy and I'm along here with
Curtis Chandler. How you doing, guys? How you doing tonight, Jack?
Doing great. Where are we racing tonight, Curtis?
Someplace in Belgium, I think it is. Spa-Francorchamps. GP 2004 layout tonight.
Yeah, this is a tricky, tough course. A classic for sure, no doubt about that. And I expect the action's going to be fierce to try and set a track record tonight. It doesn't look like we're going to do it in the wet conditions of this qualifying, though.
Yeah, qualifying just now getting started. Hey, everybody working their way out. No one's put any lap times in. So, this is going to be a dark nighttime qualifying. I don't know if it's wet. I can't see any spray. And they're showing wet conditions, but with it being hot enough, it's 102 degrees out there right now. Maybe it won't affect them, but we'll see. I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if we'll get down to those record 110 ones. What is it you said earlier? 110 lap. I don't think we'll see that if it's a little bit damp, but should be a good qualifying.
Yeah, the track record here is Aaron Parsons at a 2:10.1, and Chris Moses was about 1 second off that pace in practice earlier this evening. Qualifying tonight is in the dark, although the race will be in the daylight.
Spa is known for those changeable weather conditions. Even though it's an hour-and-a-half race, we still might see something. If you look out there in the distance, the clouds are out there. So it's not super heavy rain, just a little light mist on the track right now.
Well, that's going to make it interesting for qualifying. We've had Parsons and Moses out there in the past seasons. We've had them with 4 wins and 8 podiums split between them, and I think we can watch for those two guys up near the front of the pack again.
Especially around this place, yeah, those guys are always up front with these races. You know, I do remember one time Aaron Parsons smacking the wall. As I went blasting by him, I think I smacked the wall like 2 laps later. But so those mistakes can happen even with these guys. And just watching along here, there is some mist, so it's a little damper than I may have thought earlier. So yeah, maybe a little tricky conditions here at first, huh?
Yeah, I think so. You know, that Eau Rouge is going to be very slippery with this damp conditions out there tonight. It's going to have to watch that area there. We've seen drivers lose it there in the past, and catastrophically as well.
On the wet, definitely, you know, Eau Rouge. The chicane will catch a lot of people out in the damp the bus stop chicane back there. You just think you can brake a little bit deeper than you want. Can, and you're sliding off into the garbage out there, and then you really get lost. And then at the last turn, the hairpin up there, once you get in that outside area out there, it's just, you're just hanging on, hope you don't hit that wall. And it's, again, especially in the wet.
Yeah, at Lasource at that corner there, it can be, those tires there can be game ending. A little late to get back into the pits and a long way around.
Yeah.
There with Tiago Canola and David Poole rounding out the podium last week.
Yeah, Andre and Tiago had a good fight all that whole race. Until about the 3/4 lap, that's when he started to pull away and gap himself. What did he win by, like 15 seconds or so?
Yeah, Andre had
a real good battle there in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, Andre had a great race last week. No surprise. He's won here in the past along with Canavan and Poole. They both won here in the past, so we can watch for 5 or 6 drivers who are going to be gunning for the medal tonight.
So I'm looking at Andre with that win last week. It's going to be carrying some weight. He's got 88 pounds of weight on him. David Poole is going to have 44, and then Tiago's going to have 66. Those are the only guys with any weight on the cars. So don't think it's going to hurt them too much in the wet rain. They might even, like you were saying last week, might even want a little bit of weight. It seems to help sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely might be a small, tiny advantage. The track is so fast, I don't know how much of an advantage it's going to be tonight, but it might be a little tiny advantage at the grip around in qualifying, but I wouldn't want to be carrying that weight for this full race tonight of 36 laps.
Someday I'll carry weight. I want weight one of these days.
I'd settle for
Just
the points.
I'd take the points, yeah, no doubt. There's not going to be any penalties, so there won't be any no-qual penalties tonight. Looking through the list here. I don't think. Let me double check myself here.
Well, that's a good thing.
I was looking at the wrong one.
Because the...
No, I'm sorry, I'm totally wrong before I go any further.
We've had some bad boys from last week. Who have you got on the bad boy list?
Yes, we have. We've got John Solberger with a warning contact. But the big one here right now is David Pohl. He will have a no-qual penalty. So,
ouch. That is going to hurt.
That will hurt. So he's going to be sitting out watching everybody else go around. And Laurent Weisman and Sam Rolfe also will have no quals. So Laurent, who had a real good run going last week, is going to be sitting out watching.
Yeah, and Sam Rolfe also. It's too bad he's starting farther back. He's had some really decent practice times earlier. I was watching. Absolutely. Practice helps.
Yeah, so we're just now getting in some of those first laps in, and the rain is definitely slowing these guys down by around, what, 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, I just switched over to the leaderboard there, and you're right. We've got Brad Maris just threw in a 2:19. That's almost 2 seconds better than Tiago Canola. Way to go, Brad.
Qualifying around here seems to go really fast. You know, those 2-minute laps. Next thing you know, you can't sit around and wait. You know, you got to get right in there and try your setups right away, because 4 minutes to get a time in. You don't get much time to get a lap in around here. A time lap.
Yeah, big shout out to our viewers tonight. Who have we got up there?
Looks like I see Turbo. Not sure what his name is. Got 6 other people who haven't chimed in yet. Go ahead and chime in, you know, and let us know who you are, where you're from, and if you've got any questions or anything, type them up there. We'll see if we can answer them.
Yeah, let us know who you're cheering for. We'll give them some airtime, some extra special airtime. Yeah, I was talking with David Canavan earlier this evening, and he said watch for him after the first pit stop and change through. He said he's working on a secret strategy he wouldn't tell me about, but he said watch for him in the second stint.
I don't know how secret you can go. You're either going to do 1 stop or 2 stops, so...
Yeah, Rich Roman has gone into P1 now with a 2:17. That's 2 seconds better than Brad Maris. Do you think maybe the track's drying out a little bit?
No, I think you'll probably see about a 5 to 8 second difference between a wet and a dry track time around here. So we might see 16s, but if it does start to dry out, you know, it's going to be real tough. You're going to stay on that one dry line, and that's going to be tough to do. One name that's sticking out right now is Marto Conti. 3rd place, sitting in 3rd right now. You know, we've got 15 more minutes to go, but it doesn't matter at that point. He's definitely going to be in the top 10 for that start.
Hey, Turbo from Yorktown. Looks like Yorktown, Indiana. Big hello out there. Thanks for joining us. I was just on board with Brad there, Brad Maris, and he was sliding that car around pretty good. But as you mentioned, Marco Conti, not a big surprise there for me. He's pretty smooth in the rain, and keeping it smooth is what it's all about. And I'd be looking for maybe Greg Myers as well, who's another smooth driver to do well in qualifying tonight, although he admittedly has said that qualifying is not his forte.
Yes, but the beginning of the race is. He always seems to be able to work his way up smoothly and quietly and quickly before the first stints happen.
Yeah, he is a smooth, as you said, quiet driver. He just seems to work his way all up through the field all the way to the end of the race. Just while we're following Marco around, he slipped down to a P4 right now. A little update here in our leaderboards. We've got, for the season leader, Aaron Parsons up in the top with 67 points, and David Poole right behind him with 62. His no qual start tonight, and starting from the back of the pack's not going to help David too much. Andre Prado in third place with 60 points, and that first place finish last week really helped him out, followed by Big Al Merriman with 29 and Juan Monroy with 28. That rounds out your top 10 in the driver standing.
I'm just looking at the live timing here. Just want to make sure you're still up there and running. It looks like Marco's frozen on the screen here. You still going there, Jack?
Yeah, I've got Marco Conti there. He's still going around the track as far as I can see. And my timing clock is still running, so as far as I know, we're still broadcasting.
Okay, just wanted to double check. I'll refresh the screen here.
It's good to have you in as my partner. Let me know what's going on here.
So Turbo rooting for Paul Hall. Yeah, he was. That's right. He was rooting for him last week, but Paul had an early exit last week. Yeah, remember that.
Well, we got Ian Joliker up into P4 right now. There you go, Turbo. There's your man, Paul. I really like that, the graphics on that car, that Mad Croc Corvette there is well put together car. Looks great. Looks like Paul's sliding it around pretty good in the wet. Let's jump on board for you there and see how Paul's doing. Well, sorry about that, Paul. Broadcaster's curse. Off into the kitty litter.
You know, on this whole track, there's a lot of good spots, but I think that corner right now is down the belt of that. When you get that right, that does it for me. I love that corner. I think I like it even more than Eau Rouge because, hey, that's on the wall right there. Yeah, you know that corner. It's just a great feeling. So it looks like Andres Prieto has popped up there in the top, in that high 16s. Marco's not slowing down. He's working his speed back up to third. David Canavan. Times. Teams are about 7.5, about 7 seconds slower than you're expecting on the dry track.
Well, there you are, Turbo. We just followed Paul Hall around. He's struggling out there, but he'll give it his all. John Watson back in P26. P28. Bjorn Heyman.
Chris Moses. what our two most winning drivers, Aaron and Chris, sitting 17th and 18th right now. Not where they want to be, that's for sure.
Well, they know the track well, and maybe they didn't do enough practice in the rain with their rain setups.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you'd think they're probably just hoping that their experience would help them, you know, and all these setups they probably have bagged away everywhere. And I don't know. That's not good for them. Good for everybody else. Hey, the more people start behind you, the better, right?
Well, yeah, we've only got just over 9 minutes left in qualifying, so if they're going to make a move, they're going to have to do it soon. I'm out with Big Al Merriman, the boss. He's back in P31. I don't even know, has Al put a time in yet?
Yeah, he's struggling, looks like, in the wet. He's been bouncing off walls left and right. So.
Absolutely, he just crashed out in his outlap there. On board with your P1 leader, Aaron Parsons.
Look at that, just like that, right to the top. Must have been a combination of wrong setup or traffic or just skidding off. Let's see if Chris can do the same thing.
With a driver of that skill, maybe he's just waiting.
Down into the 15s here before this is over. It's really drying out.
Yeah, I'm on board with Aaron right now, and looks like he's in behind me. It's more telling you. You're right, there is no, well, a little bit offline, there's still a little bit of moisture. Aaron pulls it off, he was held up in traffic. And he's dropped a P2. Brad Maris is taking P1. Way to go, Brad.
This is all going to be about timing now. That track is drying out that racing. You've got time to get 7 minutes left. You've got time to get 3 laps in. You got to count that warm-up lap. So you can only get 2 qualifying laps, and you want to make sure you have enough gas in it. Because in case you get balked, you want to make an opening. So you should see everybody getting down their best lap.
Yeah, just went back up to the scoreboard there, and Maris and Parsons in pretty close together, 2:16.454 and a 2:16.668. So, and Andre Prado in a 2:16.989. They're all really close together. And Marty is subbing in tonight. I think he's taking Lou Mascarelli's car, and he's at a 2:17.018. Way to go, Marty. He hadn't even driven this car until about 10-15 minutes before qualification. Way to go.
That car up, I remember before the race you were talking about here, hoping he can get a ride, and he's out. Let's see here. Marty's in that. And Chris Moses, right to the top of the timesheets back, 15.4.
Well, boy, this is going to be a close battle here right to the end. Ronnie, who did well earlier in the wet, has slipped down to P9 now. And my Monday night buddy, Jared Keane. Way to go, Jared. You're just short out of the points money there, right behind Gregory Myers.
Ferraris have always been real fast. And those 4 GT1s that we saw last week are quickly about the power. Those open space. Just gonna suit them.
Yeah, those 4 GTs have shown some dominating positions this year so far, and the teams that have got them have done excellent with them as well. Just showing a little favoritism here, folks. I got my Monday night partner Jared Keane up on a hot lap here, coming to the sector split. Let's see how he's doing.
while we follow Jared around. With the updates, David Canavan moved himself up to 4th ahead of Aaron Parsons. So he popped in another quick lap. Sitting in the pits right now, making a couple more changes. Andres Pietro down to 6th. But he hasn't started his lap. He may have time to maybe get one more time lap in.
Well, maybe that's Canavan's secret weapon. Oh, Jared has spun it on La Source, and he was on a great lap. He was only a couple of seconds off the pace. I don't think he would have waited well ahead. It was P17.
That hurts, especially on the get down to that last corner. You're doing so well, but he's got time. Got time to get another lap in. Keep it clean now.
Yep, he's going for another lap on board with Christian Hamilton right now. He's in P19. Christian driving Lister. Up through the chicane.
Short straight, brake right at that light marker. Hope you don't skid through there. Nail that, get on the power and carry all that speed down that hill.
Now moves him up to P16. Gee, Curtis, when you hit the top of that La Source, it's a lot longer down to that start-finish line than it looks, isn't it?
You just sit there and you shake on the steering wheel. It's like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Kind of pull the Fred Flintstone and we should get the sheet out there and go faster.
Yeah, that's got to be the longest 6 seconds on this track. The 5 or 6 seconds coming down from La Source. It just seems like the clock's ticking way too fast when you come around. Greg Myers taking a big spin. John Stolberger, P15. Still a lot of spray coming off those cars.
Yeah, you're going to have to keep it in the line. Looks like Aaron Parsons moved ahead of Chris Moses by 1/10 of a second. 450 versus 460.
John Sportelli in the big Maytech Ford GT in P14. Andre Cole. Looks like he's got it in the garage in P13. And Mark O'Connor still hanging up there, though. He's in P12. Juan Monroy in P11. Driving the big Aston. Andrew Werner, P11. And Tiago Canola down to P10. I'm a little surprised at that.
Well, with the weight and you know, the Ford GT1, yeah, I don't know. With the weight, it might not be helping them so much. It might be a little more of a detriment around here than I was thinking. Ezra is up half a second on his previous time.
Right on board with Ezra right now as he comes into the bus stop.
Getting ready to go into the 14s if he can.
Got a bit of traffic in front of him now. Definitely held up there. Well, you did it. You just set the new fastest lap at 2:15 and change. And only 15 seconds left in qualifying.
Moses was a half second off, and he went off into the grass, so I think his chances are out. Time that's left. Andres is parked it.
Looks like Chris will finish out this hot lap, though.
grunt to finish it off, I don't think.
Chris, not quite close enough.
Canavan tried. He was close with a 2:15.6, so...
Well, not really any surprises there, I don't think. Curtis?
No, I don't think so. And you got the two most winningest drivers starting 1-2. David Canavan with his secret weapon, whatever that may be. Starting third, huh?
Yeah, I think he's pulled the secret weapon out ahead of time. He said he wouldn't do it until after the first stint, but it sure looks like he pulled it out ahead of time.
Yeah. And that Lister Storm. Now it is kind of a surprise. You know, for a top 3 start, I'm going to say David Canavan right there is the surprise of qualifying. At least in the top 10. All the regular names up there. Marco, who had a real good beginning qualifying back in 14th, about 3 seconds off. So.
Yeah, I don't think Marco's going to be happy with that. Not when his early times were standing up pretty well. But I think he probably would have done better if the track had stayed a little wetter for him. He seems to do real well in the wet.
Yeah. Well, that's the secret of being smooth and consistent through that, yeah. So now the guys are going to wait to see if we get any stragglers here, people that may have dropped or didn't make the first qualifying session. We got another minute, 22 seconds worth of time here. Let people catch a breath, get a drink of water.
Yep, and get ready for 36 laps of action. I think it's going to be pretty busy early on. That Eau Rouge is going to be intensely busy, along with Les Combs when they get off the Kemmel Straight on the first lap. I think we're going to see a lot of action in this first lap here.
Oh yeah, with the top 5 all within a few hundredths of each other. And during practice times, you know, everybody was real close to each other too. So Chris, David, Aaron, Brad, these people are gonna, you know, they'll be smart hopefully in the first couple of laps, keep it clean. I'm not gonna win this in the first lap, but the times all through practice, they were all real close. So this should be a really good race.
Yeah, we've got P1 to P6 is within 1 second of each other, so I mean, it's very competitive out here tonight.
Now you got me thinking about David. You know, I really don't know what you can really do in this in an hour and a half race. There's really no secrets you can really pull on anybody. Everybody's done this race so many times now that, you know, they've thought of everything. They know what it takes to win here. So we'll see, huh?
Well, maybe he's going to pull a smooth Irish whiskey out of his back pocket.
Oh, that was close. Salem Montgomery just nipped into the second qualifying there by like half a second. So Salem Montgomery is going to join the crew here and race tonight.
Well, good on you, Salem. Good luck out there tonight. Don't let the top 10 qualifiers scare you off too much. Anything can happen here. We've seen everything happen at this track.
One thing though, this second qualifier was also wet, so I don't think there's going to be much of a line for these people to choose from when it comes to the race. It's going to be a nice narrow groove on this track at the start of this race. If it's not raining.
Oh, ideal conditions. Well, looks like
a little warm.
Yeah, but it's looking good. The conditions in the forecast look good and sunny.
See if we can hop on a car that's going out for a little warm up. Curious to see if there's any shininess to this track. Let's see if there's any left out during the session. cumulonimbus out there, but not a whole lot.
Sounds exactly like Southern Ontario as well, Curtis. Sunny and hot today.
106. In fact, this is what it was, 106 today with just that kind of cloud cover here.
No, we moderated here today. We've been peaking out at close to 100 here all summer. We moderated to a nice, comfortable about 85 today.
Well, it's only a 5-minute warm-up. These guys are only going to have enough time to hop around and maybe remind themselves where pit entrance is here, right after the bus stop. So we might see a time pop up on there.
Yeah, interesting entrance and a very long way around to the front set of pit boxes.
Yeah, it seems like I always get pitted in the first section at the top of the hill. Don't know if it really makes much difference where you get pitted here. It's all the same time through.
It is, but if
you're if you're pitted down at the bottom of the hill, it seems to take forever to get down there, though, doesn't it?
Well, I don't mind being down the bottom of the hill. When you're in the back pits, though, I'm always nervous about running into the wall and picking up some aero damage before I even get on the track.
I'm always tempted to go out of those cones, too. It's like, maybe no one will see me just pop out of these cones, right?
Quite often do that in practice. You'd scare the poop out of somebody if you came out in the race out of those. Well, I am definitely impressed with Marty Uren tonight with his qualifying space in the car that he's had very little practice in.
Sorry, catch me here. I'm scribbling names down here for notes for the race, but yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of...
That is a really good run for Marty.
Well, he is one of our top drivers, so.
Oh, what did you call him last week? Did he have to do
our senior statesman.
That's right.
I know how old Marty is. I won't give it away to our viewers, but he is I do believe he is our senior statesman out there on the track.
I just want to make a quick chat. I just realized this, that Juan Lano is sitting there in 10th spot. He's a temporary teammate in my GT2 class since my regular teammate, Mike Greatrix, a little operation on his foot. He's got some pins going in his toes. So he's going to be sitting on the sidelines watching. Maybe he'll join us tonight. Get well, Mike.
Yeah, a little shout out. Hope everything goes well for you, Mike, and we wait to get you back in the saddle, so to speak, and back racing with us.
The tire looks good going through a rouge here, doesn't it?
Sure does. Well, as the clock winds down, just another little shout out to our viewers and to anyone interested in joining the NAGP. We race Monday nights, we race on Thursday nights, and we've got a new Champ Car series starting up on Saturdays. You're all welcome to join in. Even though it's late in the season, there's always space, always room for drivers to come on in. Just contact the admins and we'll get you all set up.
Alright, so which one of us is going to choose Aaron and which one of us is going to choose Chris? Or are we going to throw somebody else in for our pick tonight?
I am indeed. I am going with a dark horse tonight. I've got the inside track on this one. I'm going with a secret weapon, David Canavan.
You're gonna go with David. You know what? There's one person that's always done well here that I'm gonna choose, and he's never won it. Spa. So I'm gonna put the broadcaster's curse, even though he's been real helpful to me this season. I'm gonna go with Brad Maris.
Excellent choice. And while we're getting ready to go, the track is, it says the track is flooded.
It must have been a rain. This is kind of a confusing situation here. It's nice and sunny.
It is indeed. It's really confusing. While we got a little bit of time, let's run down the board and see how they sit out. In P1, we've got Aaron Parsons, past champion. Chris Moses, past Spa winner as well. David Canavan in third. Brad Maris, Curtis Broadcasters picked to win this. In P5, we got Ian Joliker.
And starting sixth, we have Rich Roman. Seventh, last week's winner, Andres Prieto. Eighth, Marty Urin in a borrowed car. Ninth, Thiago Canola. And then 10th, there's Juan Monroy.
In P11, Andrew Werner. P12, John Sportelli. P13, Jared Keane. Way to go, Jared. In P14, Mark O'Connie. You can bet those two are going to battle this out. We'll keep an eye on those. And in P15, Andre Cole. P16, oh, go ahead, Curtis.
No, that's fine if you want to go right ahead. But John Solberger is going to be starting 16th. Christian Hamilton 17th. Greg Myers 18th. 19th is Steve Kager. And 20th, Chuck Carter.
21st, Scott Andrew. 22nd, John Wathen. 23rd, John McIntyre. 24th, Rob Taylor. And 25th, Bjorn Heyman.
Starting 26th is Paul Hall. And then Lorraine Weisman, who had the ball, starting 27th. 28th is Sam Rahm. And 29th will be David Cole. And Al Marimon, who never got a time in, is starting first. I'll just snag it from his Sam. And it looks like the race is top.
And we're off. Aaron Parsons has got to P2. And Chris Moses has jumped out into P1.
He missed the start.
We were close. We were close.
The track is wet.
Absolutely. This will be interesting.
Yeah.
Chris has ran wide.
Gone.
Aaron has gone wide. Canavan went wide as well. And Ian looked like he held it together.
It's going to be some tricky tire choices right now. Some of these people may have started on intermediate, some may have started on some slicks.
Yeah,
it's cold, so.
Out in front there, in front of Chris Moses' car, there is a lot of glare on the track, and that track does look slick.
I think people that may have started on the intermediate, so maybe even some soft slicks, maybe some peppers. This is going to dry out.
Tire choice is going to play into this big time. P2 is still Aaron Parsons. Canavan into P3. Ian Joliker in P4. It is wet out there, folks. Big gap back to Rich Roman in P5. Brad Maris in P6. Being chased by Juan Monroy, Thiago Canola, and Andrew Werner.
Haven't seen a whole lot of people going out there. Holding it together, keeping off each other this first lap. Marco Conti's jumped all the way up to P11.
Yeah, he's in tight. I'm on board with John Sportelli right now, and Marco's right up behind John. P12 is Jared Keane.
Wide again.
Oh, and we've got about 5 cars all spilling around back here. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What a freight train coming through the bus stop, folks.
Looks like Chris Moses has held it through the slow loose and maintain that lead. Aaron Parsons doing the same, but David Canavan only about a second and a half behind Aaron.
Yep, back in the pack here, watching some of the action just for a second. David Poole up to 20th point. No Rouge. Looks like he's got Bjorn David. Boy, a lot of action back here. I think these wet conditions have left this pack all bunched up back here. Boy, oh boy, Curtis, I'm at a loss. I've got some great action in around P19. Whereabouts are you on the track?
I'm up front. We have two our leaders, but they're all pretty clean right now. Fires between David Canavan between third and fourth. But Aaron and Chris have gapped themselves by about 2 or 3 seconds, so they're keeping clean on the track. How's it going back there?
I'm on board with David Poole, but really I'm on board with about 15 cars back here. They're all backed up all over the place. Good clean racing, online and offline as well. Seems like they've got grip, but maybe the slower track is playing into keeping these cars all bunched up.
David Poole just carved through traffic. Already up to 18.
Absolutely. John Watson in P19. Rob Taylor in P20. Bjorn Heyman, P21. Followed by Big Al. Big Al's in P22. Looks like he's going to push Bjorn for that spot. Salem Montgomery Jr. into P23. Andre Cole all the way back to P24. John Solberger in P25. And Chuck Carter, he had a spin at La Source there, so he's put himself back into P26. Steve Kager back in P27. And Paul Hall in the Croc Corvette back in P28. Christian Hamilton has fallen back to P29 and behind Paul. Hang in there, Paul. You got some competition coming up behind you.
David Canavan made a little mistake, and Ian Jolicoeur got around it, but David Canavan just blew past him on the main straight there, so Ian back to fourth.
Up front now with Chris Moses, and yeah, he's got a little bit of breathing room between himself and Aaron.
Like one of our big losers, Andres Prieto, who started, I think it was 7th, wasn't it? He started 7th, he's brought back down to 11th place. Greg Myers, there he does, he's up the top into the top 10, just after 2 laps.
Boy, that's good smooth driving on Greg's part. David Canavan being pressured by Ian Jolicoeur for P3. And followed.
These two are always hooked up with each other, huh?
Absolutely, a great competition. Mind you, we got to mention for our viewers as well, there's great competition all the way through the pack of these things. Juan Monroy in P6. Tiago Canola, P7. And your pick, I believe. Did you pick Brad for this one?
I did. He's only 14 seconds behind the leader.
That's okay. He's in P8. He's looking really smooth out there. Bit of a gap between P8, Brad Maris, and Andrew Werner. Andrew Werner is being pressed by Greg Myers, who's up to P10 now.
Looks like Chris Moses has made a mistake, and Aaron Parsons has got by him. I missed it. I was
you're kidding.
But Chris is now 4 seconds behind Aaron, and he somewhere in the I'm guessing he probably went wide. I forget the name of the corner of that fast left-hander before he gets to the bus stop. I'm guessing he went wide there, and Aaron went by. Now David Canavan's only a second behind Chris Moses.
And that's always a battle there. If Canavan and Moses didn't hook up, that's going to be a battle all the way through to the end. But Ian Joliker is not far off Canavan's rear end, along with Rich Roman.
Yeah.
P5.
Yeah, Rich is right there too. Yeah, these it's tricky conditions. You don't want to let anybody get away because a mistake, and a spot or two really quick.
Yeah, you're right there, Curtis. It's not going to take much, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be really slippery if you get off into the grass. It's going to be hard to get back on.
David's getting into his groove. Once you see Moses on his side, so David, he'll zero in and focus, and he'll do a real good job. I see a fight coming here real soon with David and Chris.
Still quite a bit of spray coming off the cars when they get offline there.
Temp's gone up pretty fast. It's already back up to 75 degrees. Track temp at least. Ian goes by. Find the name of that corner.
Two well-matched drivers. Still a lot of glare on the track, a lot of moisture out there.
David's getting closer, working his way back up to Moses, and have a second back now. Looks like Rick Roman's gotten by Ian, so Ian is gone wide again. A couple of corners.
Oh, we've got some cars off. I don't know who that was. One of the McLarens.
Interesting there, following Chris down that short chute. He was moving around like he was looking for. His car is really looser. He was looking for water. So I wonder if he just happened to be on soft slicks and David's all over him in the twisties.
I'm wondering the same thing. Is Chris cooking his tires?
He certainly didn't go to soft slicks. There's no way. I wouldn't think.
Looks like they're coming up to some lap traffic. This might be interesting.
There it goes a little wide, carries a lot of speed. Looks like the fight right now is David and Chris. I think David's going to be able to power past him here after the
well, he had a little bit of a bobble there. It just gave enough of a gap to Chris.
Might have to wait a lap.
It almost appears that maybe Canavan has got just a slight bit of a pace advantage. I think a little bit of patience will probably go a long way here.
Brad Maris is all over the back of Juan Monroy. We just lost Marty. Marty stuffed it in the wall and parked it.
Ouch! Well, Canavan's coming up to that lap traffic. He might be a little bit of a draft off of there. Close the gap back up again.
Jared Keane has also stuffed it into the wall, and he's out.
No, say it isn't so.
Jared was running up there in the top 10, I think it was.
He was doing real well. Yep, I'm on board with David Canavan, and we can see Chris is going offline. Almost looks intentional, Curtis.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I wonder if he's looking for water. He's got soft tires and a high downforce setup, thinking he was going to stay wet. He's going to be in trouble. John Watson, looks like, and Andres Cole. John and Salem got together back in the pack. Think of what could be going there. Brad Harris has made the pass on my 10th teammate. Working his way up to 5th.
Well, this is quite a battle between Canavan and Moses, and it'll probably continue for quite a while. I hate to switch off him because with the way that Canavan's pressing him, I wouldn't. I know Chris is a smooth driver, but it's only going to take one little bobble, and he's going to open the door and let Canavan go through.
I think Andres and Ian are also having a little battle, and Andres just now sneaks past Ian. Down the bus stop, and yes, and Ian Jolicoeur is into the pits. It looks like he's going in for a tire change.
Well, you're right. So, we've got. We had a car spin there. Not sure who it was. We got Tiago Clanola in 8th. He looks like he's struggling on his tires too. It looks like tire selection is playing big time into this race. Yep, you're right. Ian is in the pits. Rob Taylor up to P10. John Solberger into P11. That drops Ian Jolicoeur into P11 now, so Solberger will move into P10. Gregory Myers. Gregory Myers is in P11 right now, but the front end of his car is all smashed up, so that's got to be a handful out in this track.
I gotta wonder how there's 36 laps scheduled. If he's pitting now, we're only on lap 6. There's no real way he can go 30 laps on a tank of gas, so we're going to be seeing another pit stop out of him before this night's over.
I think so. That's why I think maybe tires might have been a poor selection for him.
David Cole's into the pits. There's a bunch of people jumping into the pits now.
It must be. I was going to say, it almost looks like there's still a lot of moisture out there and a lot of reflection, but it might be drying up a little bit out there.
Yeah, I think maybe these guys went with soft wets, and the car just can't take it after 6 laps.
Salem Montgomery in the Ferrari is sitting in P13 right now. Sounds like we just lost another one. Salem, broadcaster's curse. He just spun it. Mark O'Connie down to P14.
I'm sorry, Scott Andrews also at the end there.
Christian Hamilton up to P15. Paul Hall, hang in there, Paul. You're in the money. Go, Mad Croc, go. Just on board here with Paul. It does look slick. He is literally tweaking that throttle in the corners.
So yeah, I'm riding along with David, and if it looks like there is a little bit of a dry line out there, but you just got to stay on it, and that's going to be tricky to do, especially through Eau Rouge. He's only a second behind Chris. Brad Maris is only 4 seconds behind David, so
yeah, Ian Jolicoeur is back into the race at P18. David Poole back to P19. Chuck Carter
back
P20.
Yeah, David had worked his way up. He must have had it off because he was up to the 18th last I saw him.
Yeah, I did see him at McLaren spun, and that must have been him. And Lauren Weisman, P21. John Wathen in the pits. Bjorn Heyman moves into P22.
And just lost speed. He must have nailed the wall. He has suspension damage on his car.
And there's your race leader, folks. Aaron Parsons.
About keeping your wits about you and keeping it on the line tonight, guys.
Four-time winner at Spa, GT1.
Aaron Parsons doing what he does at Spa, checking out, huh?
It would have seemed so. I'm not on the board, but he's putting down some serious times now.
Almost 10 seconds. Yeah, he's almost 10 seconds up on the second and third place guys. So he's keeping it smooth, not taking it easy, that's for sure. And it looks like David's going to get past Chris. Oh, he doesn't. You've got to get there with David. David is right on.
Just joined that race right now. Having a look on the inside, and he's got Chris. He's got him at La Source.
Chris got all arms and elbows at the bus stop. And I just gave David Canavan the gap he needed to get him in there.
Still a lot of spray coming off the back of Canavan's car.
There's still a lot of moisture out there, and what those little bobbles have done, but Brad Maris close up another 2 seconds on those two, so we're going to have a three-way battle for second here soon.
Yeah, that small difference in pace between Canavan and Moses, I think, is going to allow Canavan to open up a bit of a gap there. I'm still thinking tire choice has got to play it into this a little bit.
And from what we're seeing, it looks like Chris top 5 may be wondering about his tire choice, huh?
I'm definitely wondering about it at this point. It sure looks like on the straight bits, Chris is moving out into the, off the groove, into the wet areas of the track.
Brad bragging right up on Chris's tail here. There goes Brad Maris.
Yep. Yep, Brad is on board with Chris, and he's going right by him.
Excuse me, hey, I did take Brad, so I need you to move up. Go, Brad, go. Now, let's see if David and Brad can make any inroads into Aaron Parsons. Aaron looks at his time and can see the time's coming down.
Well, I don't know who's in front of Brad right now. I mean, the car just in front of him. That might be David Poole.
Yeah, I think that is David Poole.
Well, Poole blew by Moses as well, so. And now he's let Brad Maris get in front of him. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but good on him.
David was not anything for him to be this far back, so basically means not that with Chris Moses. David Pole's gonna stay all over the back of Brad Maris, so David can do his car and Brad goes wide, and
yep, way
Brad's
wide, a
gonna
little
get
bit
his
of
lap back
contact,
from,
and Poole's back out in front. That allows Chris Moses back up into the hunt again.
yeah, so David Pole is playing, hey, we got a long race here. Just because you're in front of me doesn't mean I can't go past you. So yeah, David's playing the track position. He's gonna try to trace down some people and get his lap back.
Well, if he is actually down a lap, I don't know if he is or not, Curtis, but if he is, he must be getting blue flagged like crazy.
Well, yeah, he is down a lap because he went in early and pitted and changed tires, I think, and that's the only way you can go a lap down this early into the race. So,
well,
and the fact that he's faster than those two.
Well, he'll still be getting the blue flag call unless he can put some distance between them.
Looks like he's able to do that. He's got a little bit of gap now on Brad.
Yeah, Brad might be just as happy just to follow him around. Because you're right, David seems to have quite a bit of pace out there.
Oh, looks like we lost Al Marimon. That's one of the drops we had.
Oh no, Big Al. Canavan up into P2.
Glad to say Al is alive and well. He's joining us on the live stream there. No casket for you, Al.
No, we'll definitely have you back in the saddle for the next race. Back up front with our team race leader.
Sorry about that. It looks like Greg Myers and Christian Hamilton. Okay, so Greg is having his work done. Just now coming out of the pits. As he comes out right in front of the David Cole Brad Maris battle. He moves over and lets them by. Well, at least lets Brad by. Or excuse me, David by. He's got to set up in that corner though.
I'm back at P5 with Juan Monroy. He's closing the gap to Chris. I still think Chris is on the wrong tires. It's the only explanation I have for this one. Chris has gone wide. And allowed Andre Prado into P5.
In the earlier race when it was wet, Chris was down in the 223s. He's lost 4 seconds off his previous lap. His lap time. He was running 227 his last lap, so
he must be praying for his pit window.
He's probably trying to stretch it out as much as he can, like I say. Curiosity here, looking at David Pohl's fastest lap was a 221, so he's got some pace.
Yeah, and that's why he said Brad may be just as happy to follow him around, and Brad's teammate Andre Prado into P5. Chasing down Solberger.
David Canavan was able to chop that lead down from 9 seconds down to 6.5. So Aaron Parsons is going to be taking a quick pick around, peek at his numbers and see if he's going to be able to, pick it up a notch or not. Otherwise, David's going to keep cutting into that lead.
Well, we have to wait till the end of the first stint and see if Canavan's going to pull out that secret weapon. Chris backed out of P6, and there is a big gap between Andre Prado and Solberger and Chris now. It's widening up, and Chris is struggling with that car. Tiago Canola up to P7. Chris will definitely not want to have Tiago come up in behind him, that's for sure. Rich Roman up
got to be.
Go ahead.
He's got to be timing this out for his pit. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's got to be timing this out for his pit stops. There's no reason for him to stay out other than to get first lap he can into his pit window to make it just one lap or one pit stop.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It's got to be. He's just praying for that pit window because if he pits now, he probably doesn't have enough fuel to carry it.
We'll be working lap 11 here real soon.
And we've got a spun car there. That I think it's might be wrong. Salem Montgomery. Rob Taylor swinging wide. He's in P9. Another spun car. Mark O'Connie up to P11. Andre Cole.
On the track.
Big
Andre
damage.
With some damage to that. Big damage to that right front of that car. Yeah.
There's a good look at the right front end for our viewers. The right front is just totaled on that car of his. That Celine's got to be a handful with that much damage.
Just lost another one to the wall of Spa. John Solberger. He's going to drop out of his 10th spot.
Ouch. Ian Joliger.
Parking the Aston.
Into P13. And Paul has made his way back up to P14.
Oh, he's going to be able to, that pit stop, I don't know, he's going to have to do another stop because he's just not going to have enough gas on the car to go the whole way, I can't imagine.
Gregory Myers in P15.
Up front, real quick, I hate to bother you, but David Canavan's 2 seconds down because Aaron has gone into the pits.
Aaron is pitted.
Aaron's in the pits. That puts David Canavan out front. And Brad Maris is only 2 seconds behind David.
John Wathen has just spun his car, P22. Canavan takes the lead.
Brad Maris just last lap was a 2:21.9. Canavan's was a 2:23, so these two may be on the tires they need to finish out their stint.
And it looks like Maris has just gone around pole. Or is that Werner?
Yeah, it was pole.
Well, I guess Mr. Pole must have let him take the fight to Canavan.
And Chris Moses is in the pits now, so he's finally feels like he's gotten into his window. Aaron Parsons should be coming out of the pits here real soon. And yeah, Aaron had the top pit spot, so he's working his way back onto the track going down the main section.
Canavan still holding on to the P1. Brad Maris. Brad Maris looks like he's closing up on Canavan though.
Now, at least not letting them get away, that's for sure. Wow, if you get offline, there's still a lot of water out there.
Maris right up behind Canavan, and Pole right up behind him. It looks like Brad might be in a position to he can get the power down. Three beautiful cars in your picture there, folks.
Looks like Aaron Parsons came out in 8th place just ahead of, about 7 seconds ahead of Mark Hunt. Chris Moses back on the track, just now coming out. I'll keep an eye on his lap time, see if his gets him down in the 21 on the fast.
Oh, and Brad Maris is pressing in behind David Canavan here, race leader at the moment.
David Pole's going to have to get by these guys. Big gap. But yeah, Brad Maris, David Canavan, fighting it out. Andres Pedro and the other 4 GT1 only about 9 seconds behind his teammate Brad. Beautiful bobble between those two. Andres Parsons winner's going to be right there.
Well, those two have made a great team so far this year. They're in the lead for the team championship.
What happened to some cars? Looks like it was like a 5-car accident that took out some people. Kelly and Al. Anything else you want to share, Al, you let us know.
Well, looks like your race leader's coming up to a bit of lap traffic there. Looks like Paul Hall in the Mad Croc. A little offline, let him by. Attaboy, Paul.
He stays up there.
I think with these track conditions, these guys are just happy to get by these guys clean.
Cost Brad a little bit of time. Should be a problem for him. He's got the pace.
Drive going. The Canavan, and I'm not going to be surprised if he makes up this little bit of gap again. Brad and Andre, 2-3 right now. Juan Monroy. Oh, Juan Monroy in the P4. Tiago
pits.
into the pits. Rich Roman into P6. He'll pick up to the P5 there with Tiago rolling in the pits unless he's ready to pit. Rich Roman in the pits.
These guys are pitting on lap 13, lap 14. Obviously this race is not going to go all 36 laps, so I'm going to do some quick math over here on the side.
And a great run, following Rob Taylor around. Great run by him. He's into P5. Rob Taylor, he's riding around in the Nissan R35. He's from Carroll Valley, Pennsylvania. Aaron Parsons in P6. We'll have to see how that plays out. He's already done his pit cycle. Ian Joliker up to P9. Chris Moses back to P10. And Chris, with his last split time on that sector, is only 1/100th off the sector, fastest sector time. So I think Chris,
Brad's gone to the front.
is Canavan in the pits?
No, he made a pass on the back section of the track down there. And Canavan is going to the front.
I just caught that on the camera. He's just diving in now. I'm with Andre Cole. Andre's going to be in there getting a little bit of work done for that beat-up Saleen of his.
He's right in front of David. Won't affect him on the pits.
Greg Myers in P12. David Poole up to P13. And Salem Montgomery Jr. in the points at P14. Mark O'Connie just stuffed it in. The tires there. He's sideways on the track. Bad spot. But gets it over to the side and not causing too many problems.
Looks like he may have a flat though, or?
I do believe that. It sure looked like it from my view here too. Which would be more than a handful out there on this wet track. Christian Hamilton coming up behind him in P17. Christian will be wanting to buy that damaged car badly right now. But we could probably look for Marco to head into the pits. Oh, almost spun it there. And Marco staying out. Bjorn Heyman, P18. And
Taylor, our fifth place guy, is into the pits now too.
Paul Hall, Matt Croc, P19. Chuck Carter with a little bit of a wobble at the source. He's running at P20 right now. John Wathen struggling out there in P21.
Okay, David Canavan's heading back out onto the track right now. He's a minute 14 behind Brad. He's pulling out there in 5th place. second behind Aaron Parsons, so we've got a race. Brad and Andre's pit and Juan pit. We're going to have Aaron Parsons and David Canavan out front.
Well, that Anger Racing team with Maris and Prado running 1-2 right now. It's pretty impressive. Juan Monroy currently sitting in P3. Ian Parsons in P4. And Canavan behind him in P5, going around some lap traffic there on the outside.
Looking at some lap times here. Looking at some lap times.
Canavan's off
Brad's
into the kitty litter.
Oh, is he?
Trying to make a pass.
Pushing on those full tires. Just a little bit of kitty litter, he'll be okay, but looking at the lap times between Brad and Andres and comparing them to Aaron Parsons, Aaron's running about a second a lap faster, so Brad and Andres are going to have to think about their lap times. And they're not going to want to lose much time out there.
Yeah, I just switched over the leaderboard there. Geez, they're spaced out pretty good. Top three cars there. Is Brad and Prado pitted yet, though?
No, Brad and Andres haven't pitted, so right now they're losing about a second a lap on Aaron Parsons.
And Canavan's gotten around his lap traffic.
That was Marco.
Well, we've got Maris in P1, Prado in P2, Monroy in P3, Parsons in P4, Canavan in P5, Joliker in P6, and Moses in P7, and that's all the cars on the lead lap. All the rest are down one lap.
Moses has found the pace. He's down into 221s now, so when he comes out, he's going to be not far behind David and Brad. And Brad does his pit stop.
Yeah, up following Brad right now. Let's see if it's time for him to go.
I think he's going to go into the pits.
Absolutely not. He just went right by.
And his teammate skips the pits too, so we're going to get another lap out of Brad and Andres. That last lap, Aaron Parsons was 2 seconds a lap faster than both Brad and Andres. So that 9-10 second gap that Eza had when he went into the pits, Brad's going to have his work cut out.
Yeah, and Andre is going to be a while in the pits because it looks like he missed on board there. Taking a look at some of the damage, it looks like he's got a caved in left door panel.
A little aero damage. Never hurt you around Spa, right?
Well, they're going to need all they can get out of those cars.
It's still really tricky out there. You get offline just a little bit, it's still real wet. You can see the line forming though. That makes making any passes difficult too.
Yeah, and we saw that with Canavan trying to make a pass on some lap traffic offline, and it just did not work out for him well. John Solberger has put it in the pit stall. Aaron Parsons sitting in P4. And he just put in a hot lap though.
He's a minute 12 behind, so thinking what, a minute? How long is the pit stops taking these people?
I gotta think they're gonna be up in that 1 minute 30 seconds to get around that big long entrance and exit out of that's excruciatingly slow.
It's going to put Brad out there probably in what, 4th or 5th place when the time comes for these pits to happen. That's going to put him right in the clutches of both Chris and Ian Jolifore.
Yeah, Ian running in P6. Chris Moses behind him in P7. And Tiago Canola. P9. And he's pushing Tiago.
Third place, Carwan Monroy's into the pits.
Well, that should change the order up front then.
It's definitely going to give Aaron a spot. One's probably going to come out there in 7th place, I'm guessing.
Yep, Mr. Parsons headed down to the source. As you mentioned, there's still a lot of spray out there. And indeed he does. He takes P3. Back up with your race leader, Brad Maris. I wonder who would pick him to win this race.
I don't know. I'm wondering about this secret weapon you were talking about with David Canavan here. He's 9 seconds behind Aaron Parsons.
Well, I think Canavan better pull that Irish whiskey out of his back pocket and get moving.
Whatever secret he has, now it's about the time to try it. Juan Manuel is just now coming out of the pits. He's coming out in 5th. But he's about 10 seconds in front of Ian Jolifore.
Now, did Brad and Andre put in extra large gas tanks for this race?
Well, with Ford, you kind of need an extra large gas tank to begin with.
And I'd be
Looks
interested.
like Brad and Andre are just going to stay out there and do their. They're out there working lap 19 right now, so they're just doing their regular pit sequence, it looks like, and see where they fall.
Well, good on them. Good tire selection. And let's see how this pit cycle ends up.
Yeah, they're still losing time to Aaron Parsons. It's only 1:10 now. They've lost 2 seconds on that last lap. They're losing track space. And I just lived that Monday night. I learned my lesson on that one a couple nights ago. So this isn't going to work out for them. They're going to come out there in 4th and 5th place when they do finally pit.
Aaron just coming around. The source.
I'm guessing they're going to come out probably about 20 seconds behind Aaron.
Just set a new fastest lap there. So he's turning up the heat, Mr. Parsons is. Canavan back in P4.
Looks like the fastest lap of the race so far is David Canavan with the 2:20, 2:30. Done 2 laps ago.
Chris Moses in P5, working his way back up after his early troubles. But is Chris going to have enough to get through? Because he went in rather early. And Chris is wobbling all over the place after the source coming down to Eau Rouge.
Brad is into the pits. Andre stays in.
Ian Joliker hunting down Chris Moses. And Juan Monroy in the hunt behind them.
Following along with Aaron Parsons right now. He's getting ready to come up onto the bus stop.
Greg Myers hunting down Tiago Canola for P8.
Mr. Parsons. Brad's still sitting there. Headed into his pit stop. Brad is on the move, so he's coming out. He's coming out in 4th place, it looks like.
Is Brad going to have enough time to pick up the spots though?
About 20 flat. Not a bad guess. About 20-25 seconds getting right there. These conditions, I don't think that's enough time. It's going to take a mistake.
Well, back in 8, 9, and 10, we've got Canola, Myers, and David Pohl. Rob Taylor, P11. Boy, Rob. Good ride for Rob tonight. And Lauren Weisman at P12. With Christian Hamilton.
Andres. Andres Golds is putting in the wall. He's parked it out of the big position.
Oh. Too bad for Andres. Rich Roman back in P14, followed by Marco Conti. He's slipped down to P15 now, but still chasing. And teammate Bjorn Henman in the final points penny position goes a little wide there in P16. Salem Montgomery Jr. in the Ferrari in P17. And there's Andre Cole.
2 laps down.
Parked it, yeah. Chuck Carter.
These guys must have been some of the people in the accidents that Al was talking about earlier. There are 2 and 3 laps down. John Wathen and Chuck and Salem.
Yep, Chuck has just picked up the P18 from one of the drivers that has dropped out. John Wathen taking his car a little wide there in P20.
.58 seconds in front of Aaron. And we know a pit stop's going to take at least a minute, minute 15, minute 20?
Yeah,
He's going to come out.
I think if they had pitted just a little earlier, it would have brought him in a little closer. Because I got to think they're losing time to Aaron right now. And Prado into the pits. And he's following another car into the pits. I don't know if that's Mark O'Connie or Bjorn, who's missing the whole front clip.
Yeah, it looks like Marco's had more contact with the wall. The whole front of this car is beat up.
Is that Marco into the pits then?
Yeah, that's Marco right in front of him. So it looks like the race on the track right now is a 5-second gap for first and second. Aaron Parsons and David Canavan. David's about 5-6 seconds behind Aaron.
Yeah, I'm with Aaron Parsons right now. We could just see a little bit of Canavan's car. Parsons way wide there. At the end of Blanchemont into the bus stop.
I think Aaron's going to be pushing because he knows David's got some pace. About a second, half a second a lap David's got on Aaron, so we've there's plenty of time for David to get up there.
This will be an old horse race right to the end. Well, this is the way we like to see it. Better than having drivers, as we say, check out and take it from flag to flag. It's always nice to see them pressing for podium positions.
Well, we know David Canavan, he's won back here in season 16. One of his wins, I think he's won 2 of these before, actually. Yes, he did. He's won season 10.
No stranger to being on the top, this guy. And Brad Maris back in P3. Now, Brad still hasn't pitted?
No, Brad is pitted. He pitted right before, a lap or 2 before Andre, so they should be fairly close, but you can see how staying out hurt Andre's time there. He's lost, what, 9 seconds on his teammate, so.
Still going to be great finishes, and probably is going to be enough to keep them into the championship lead for teams as well. Although with, you know, Canola's Portelli finishing so far down, this could be very good for Brad and Andre to maintain their top position.
Got a fight here for 8th place between Gregory Myers and Thiago. Thiago in that black GT1, Greg Myers coming up on him now.
I've just picked that up. Thanks, Curtis. Prieto quietly back there in 4th place. Last week's winner. Had a rough start to the race. Now working his way up and getting some good points. Well, back here with Greg Myers, who was chasing down Thiago, but Thiago's been able to put a little bit of a gap on him. And now Greg's got problems of his own with David Poole, right? Up behind him.
Yeah, David got his lap back. I'm just wondering if David's going to be able to go the rest of the pits. He pitted really, really early.
Mr. Smooth driving Greg Myers in through those horses, giving himself a little bit of breathing room from David Poole. That Tiago sure is. It looks like he's picked up the pace and put a bit of space between himself and Greg, although Greg still got him in sight.
Yeah, it looks like David spun it around, and that's going to give Greg a big gap. It's not going to be that pole for quite a while now. So now Greg can turn around and focus on Tiago in front of him. But, you know what's happening up front? David Canavan's chopped it down to 3 seconds.
Chris Moses back up to P5. Andre Prado at P4. P3 teammates Myers, Prado together. You're absolutely right, Curtis. Canavan has got Parsons in his sights.
It's good when you can see the enemy right there. Now you have a goal.
Both ways, though, you can bet that Aaron's going to push to try and maintain that gap. He could probably see it shortening up. Push too hard, it might cost him a little bit of a mistake, and that's all these guys need out here.
I hope you remember to start your timer. We're at lap 24 right now out of questionable laps, because this is going to be a time race.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Curtis, I didn't, and I really meant to do that before the start of this race as well.
Me too. I don't know about that. And David Poole are both back into the pit, so yeah, they weren't going to be able to make it. These should be pretty quick stops.
Yeah, it should be just a splash of gas.
Kind of knew that was coming, so the race right now is the good race. Race for the win up front. David Canavan only a second now behind Aaron Parsons. It's right there with the source. So it looks like we're at the 1 hour mark. Thank you, Gup. Appreciate that. Got 30 more minutes.
Well, with 30 minutes, it's
laps.
There is going to be plenty of time for Canavan to make a serious run at Parsons, and this is going to be really interesting too.
It actually tells me how much time we've got in the race. We're an hour and 3 minutes into this race. So about 26 minutes left.
Still a lot of time left, Curtis.
David Canavan. Looks like he's on the beat right now. He's closing up real good there.
See, as soon as they get offline, there still is a lot of moisture out there. Canavan having a look.
Where you pick the pass. Say it's wet, you get outside a little bit, you're out to the beach, all that work down the drain.
Down through the Blanchimont.
Pushing to nip that grass. He's working to stay
say it's no problem. Curtis been going by, trying to pass either one of these two drivers would be plenty of problem for just about anyone in this league.
You gotta be confident, Jack. You gotta think no problem.
Well, not at the speed these guys put up. I think Canavan's got him on this straight here.
Yeah, seems to carry more real speed than Rouge, so I think he's going to get up on him and grab the pass.
And he's having a good look. He's on the inside. This is going to be... And Aaron smartly lets him go by.
David put it in there deep, though, even in the wet. Gregory Myers, by the way, he's got a big spot down there. He's in the pits. Great followers out there. Quick pit for him, though. See if David can make some a little bit of a gap here. Give himself a little breathing after these last 10 laps. This last Marco Conti was stuck it into the wall one last time and
oh, Marco, he sure put a lot of damage on that car tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a big bit more team owner on that one. Authorities on G.
A little disappointing there. Marco sure looked like he was running real well in qualifying in that wet conditions.
Yeah, you know, he probably went into the very beginning of that qualifying session feeling really good, but as night went on, things got tougher.
Yeah, following behind here with Aaron, Canavan looks like if he can keep it smooth, he's going to keep putting a bit of a gap on them.
Keep it on the drive. It's even now, like we just saw with Marco. He gets off, especially through a Rouge. So it looks like David Pohl and Gregory Myers are Greg came out this pit right in front of David, so they're fighting there for 13th spot.
Well, I'm just going to cycle back. It looks like Canavan has got a little bit of a gap here on Aaron Parsons, so we'll just leave that for the time being, but we'll be right back at him. Brad Maris.
Wide and made that pass release for David. Great back to 14.
Brad Maris into P3. His teammate not too far behind in P4. And Chris Moses not far back of them in P5. Sure would be interesting to chat with Chris and see what strategy he used to start this race on. Juan Monroy and the Big Aston in P6. Tiago in P7. And Rob Taylor back in P8. Ian Jolicoeur in P9. Rich Roman, P10. Christian Hamilton, P11. And David Pohl in P12. Greg Myers in P13. And Bjorn Heyman, P16. Chuck Carter with a little bit of problems earlier on in the races in P17, one out of the points. And John Laughlin back in P18. And back up front, your race leader, David Canavan. Putting a little bit of gap on Mr. Parsons there.
David Canavan Fastest lap of the race so far, 2:19.3. First one to break into the 2:19s. That's the only one to break into the 2:19s tonight so far.
Well, his secret weapon must be extra sticky tires out there in this damp conditions we've got. What we need now, Curtis, is a big downpour.
Yeah, just to make the track wetter.
Just to make it tougher for these guys. That's just what they want.
Just, yeah, make it tougher for them.
Well, with the number of cars we've lost tonight, we know it is tough out there tonight.
What's left?
Brad Myers hanging on to his P3. And Andre Prado. I don't know if their pit strategy has really worked that well for them tonight. What do you think, Curtis?
Well, I think well, like I'm any kind of expert, but I think if they had pitted probably about 4 laps earlier, but I don't know if they would have been able to do it on the gas, but if they could have pitted about 4 laps earlier, it probably would have worked for them. But they did lose a lot of time, about 2-3 seconds a lap staying out there on those tires. Maybe they didn't have a choice because of the fuel mileage.
Yeah, it could have been just waiting for the fuel window to open up. Chris Moses back in P5. Well, folks, it's going to be interesting to read the story that Chris is going to put up and explain how the pit wizard let everybody down tonight with his, I'm going to call it an absolute fiasco. It has to be on the tire selection. I don't know, what do you think, Curtis, but he must have been at completely the wrong tires to start this race.
Yeah, you know, with the temperatures and the water being cold, it was just kind of they were probably just kicking them, knocking their heads on the wall, figuring out what to do. You know, if they went with the soft wets, yeah, I'm guessing that probably a lot of them went with the soft wets, and the tires just couldn't take it. When the temps came up and the grooves started going, just wasn't really anything you could do. Just take your medicine, and make it as hard as you can, and change the tires.
And Tiago Canola still back in P7. Juan Monroy up in P6. Rob Taylor hanging in there in P8. That's a real good race for Rob. Ian Joliker back in P9. Rich Roman in the Saline in P10. And David Poole in P11.
Looks like David Poole getting his lap back from Chris Moses. He just went blasting past him on that.
And blasting past him is a great description for that. It was like Chris was... Oh, broadcaster's curse. I'm telling you, we've done it a couple of times tonight, folks. And Chris goes blasting past David.
Blasting right by him. David's done that a few times tonight. He's made the pass and then overcooked it and stuck it into the gravel a little bit. All that hard work for nothing.
But it sure looked like that McLaren sure has the speed on that Ferrari tonight for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Chris is back into hang-on mode. Because he's doesn't seem like he can get in a real big hurry anywhere. He's hanging on to the car and losing time, so nothing he can do right now. Looks like he's struggling pretty hard with the car. He's got a pretty big gap back to Juan Monroy, so if he can hang on to that 5th spot, it's going to be the best he can do.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help them for their points position as well. I mean, they're going to need that for the team points with Big Al being out of the race tonight. But Poole's right back at him again.
Yeah,
and Poole's overkilled it and gone straight on through to the escape road, and boy oh boy, he's just made a total mess of that corner, David.
Well, how many times are you going to go off before you learn?
We've got Greg Myers and Christian Hamilton in quite a battle back here too. Greg Myers all over the back of Christian. Greg having a look. And taking him on the inside, heading down to Eau Rouge. And Greg quickly putting a little bit of distance between himself and Christian. Salem Montgomery still hanging on to P14. And Laurent Wiseman in P15. Looks like Laurent's got a bit of damage to that car, yes.
Got a lot of that tonight, though, huh?
Looks like the right front end might be suffering a little bit. Both corners. Bjorn Heyman in the last paying position, P16. And Chuck Carter hanging in there for P17.
This might be interesting. Looks like Chuck Carter may have a chance to get into the points with Salem Montgomery just now going into the end of the pits.
Salem's got into the pits.
Yeah, and if he spends any time in there at all, Chuck's going to move up in one spot and take that last points paying position.
Is that the second pit for Salem, or his first pit?
It's hard to tell with some of the times. He's had a few offs, but lap 3 he had a 4-minute lap, and then on lap about 20 or so, yeah, so this will be his second pit stop actually. Oh, he's just doing a tire change, put some gas in the car, so yeah, it looks like Salem's going to drop a spot.
It does look like David Canavan is taking control. That secret weapon that he talked about. We're going to have to chat with this guy afterwards to find out what that secret weapon is.
Can you let the secret out?
Wasn't that I am that smart at picking the winners, folks. It was inside information I had. Canavan said he was going to pull one out of his back pocket, and it sure looks like he did tonight.
Looks like Salem, as he was leaving his pits, spun it around in pit lane and got himself up against the wall. And that may have cost him about 10 seconds as Chuck goes by for that last spot.
Oh, Salem. 3-4, Maris and Prado. Moses in 5th. Juan Monroy. Big Aston Martin hanging on to 6th. And Diego Canola soldiering along in P7. Whoop. Did it sound like we just lost somebody? Ian Joliker in the P8. And a great run for the Nissan tonight, and Rob Taylor in P9. Rich Roman P10. And David Poole.
I think it was.
Go ahead, Curtis.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it was just whoever we lost must have been somebody that had already crashed out because everybody's maintaining their positions on the track. So.
Greg Myers in P12. Just a couple of spots out of top 10 for Greg. Put a bit of a gap on, quite a gap on now with between him and Christian once he got by him. Lauren Weisman, P14. And Bjorn Heyman in a P15. And Chuck Carter. Attaboy Chuck, taking the last paying position. And Zale Montgomery with the Ferrari into P17. Too bad about that unfortunate pit you had to make there, Salem. You were in the points.
Just poking around here, looks like our fast lap might be either David Pohl or Rich Roman.
Very interesting.
Looks like David Pohl is running 2:18.2 about 4 laps ago. So,
well, he was
he's on the track. He's flying.
Yeah, he was putting in some hot laps. It's just, I think he was just overcooking it.
10 more minutes of this. Break this tonight. Or about 8 minutes. So we got about, what, 3 more laps or so?
About 3 laps, and I'm on board with the TV viewer with the race leader, David Canavan. There is still a lot of spray on the track, although the reflection's not as bad as it was.
Another night of high attrition.
Yeah, we've seen that in both Monday and Thursday nights, Curtis. We're definitely losing a lot of drivers as they, I don't know if they're actually pushing maybe above their limits. Oh, Salem's back off the track, and watch Canavan go by him again. And Andre Prado, 3-4. That's playing right into this team championship. That's a great finish for them as a team. Chris Moses in the pits, P5. Chris has gone in the pits.
That's going to hand a spot to Juan Monroy, who was only a few seconds behind. Looks like we just lost Bjorn Henman. Stuffed it into the wall. So that's going to let Salem get that 16th spot, that last point.
Chris, a splash of gas and gone.
Juan did get by. Let's see where Tiago is. Tiago's coming down the... coming into the back session, not quite to the source, so Chris is going to hang on to that 6th spot.
Yep, Chris is back out.
Ian Jolicoeur and Thiago Canola are having a battle. They're going down up into Eau Rouge right now. So these two are fighting for position.
Yep, I just joined up with Ian.
Saw Ian flashing some lights. There.
In behind Ian now, on the overhead cam. All over the back, having a good look at it. inside. Tiago defending the line really well.
Maybe I'll just call that corner for the last one.
Tiago able to hold him off. Ian swinging way wide there. Ian breaking really late. Oh, geez, we've got Salem Montgomery's coming up. Oh, what a mess here. We've got Tiago off into the wall, and Ian's gone by him. Boy, the look on Tiago's face is intense. Salem put it into the wall again. As Ian powers Eau Rouge and got quite a gap now on Tiago. Tiago must be hurting there with his car as Salem Montgomery is just blown by him on the straight. Going into Layscombe. Tiago's hurt.
There's a surprise for you. Aaron Parsons into the pit also. He got all the gas in the car as well. Looks like the Ferraris aren't getting gas mileage tonight. Him and Chris both had to hit the pits late in the race here. That's allowed Andres Granta up into third. Aaron back.
I'm back with Tiago. I think he's taken either a flat tire or he is running out of fuel. One or the other.
Running out of fuel too, yeah. We see him pop in. We're not going to make it. There's 2 minutes left in this race, so Aaron's back out onto the track. So yeah, just a quick splash for Aaron. Still got a big enough gap back to Juan Manuel.
Brado on the podium in the P3. Brad Maris went a little wide there. He's in P2.
Andres, his lap times have dropped a few seconds, so I wonder if maybe he's trying to.
Brad Maris is going really, really slow, unbelievably slow. Doesn't even sound like he's on the throttle. Is he running out of fuel? On board now listening to him. I think Brad might be out of fuel. He might be just babying this around. Are we on the last lap? He's signaling to let other cars go by.
He must be like on cue, and we have about 45 seconds left in this race.
He might be going slow enough to let the race end.
Might be what he's doing.
He's let his teammate go by. I think Brad's out of fuel.
Just carefully, because there's still only about 20 seconds left. Maybe he'll just park it up here.
Canavan is driving like he's on a Sunday. Are we still racing?
We're still racing.
If Canavan drove any slower, I could walk around the track and beat him. He's not even on the throttle. Canavan is not on the throttle at all. I'm on board with him.
I don't hear anything out of Canavan, so maybe he's running out of gas too. Well, his car's idling.
I cannot believe these guys are out of fuel. This is unbelievable.
Andres Prieto has parked it somewhere on the track.
They're waiting for Canavan to come around and finish. That's what they're waiting for.
Who's going to finish this race? Brad Maris has parked it. Andres has parked it.
I think Canavan's in 6th gear idling around. Salem Montgomery has no idea what's going on, and he's just blown by your race leader there, folks.
He just blew by. I think Canavan's got a little bit of power left. He must only have, what, a tenth or two of fuel left in his car, so he's taking it really easy to get.
I swear to God, he's just got it in 6th gear and is just coasting it.
It's got to be done.
He's coming into the chicane now. If I was Canavan, I'd take the cut and go straight through and keep my momentum going. He's in 6th gear.
The clock is still going.
Canavan into the pits. He doesn't have the fuel. He doesn't have the fuel.
Got it. Confused here. Is it over? You know the race time is still clicking.
They're all dropping. Canavan just put it to the wall. He doesn't want to touch his brakes. Is he hoping to pass the
Must be done. Must be done. David wins.
Thank you.
Wow, we were confused there for a while. Sorry about it. I didn't see a checker flag or anything, but yeah, good job, David.
That was super exciting. Well, a whole lot of that day. My teammate, he made a great shirt and tires for me. So all I had to do was come in, stick on the roller, and drive her home.
Well, David, I got to tell you, pre-race, just because you told me you had a secret weapon you were going to pull out of your back pocket, I picked you to win the race. Thank you for making me look like a savant.
My secret weapon was sort of slightly nullified a wee bit there with my fuel consumption. And this Leicester was great, and then I could match the pace of everybody else. I'd be on the box seats, but whenever the rain came, prairies are just the tires to be on. Moses, fuck, we had a few hairy moments to say the least. The ones that got by him, I knew you could match Ez's pace, and then it's just all about timing your pit stop right. I'm lucky enough the last two wet races I've had, I've timed them perfectly.
Well, it was a great race by yourself, great strategy. We do believe this is your 3rd win in GT1 at Spa.
Yep, one behind the Masters that are Christopher Moses and Aaron Person. Oh, I love running around this place. This is the best track in the world.
Well, thanks for coming up and chatting with us. You put on a great show. How wet was it to start the race?
Pretty damn slippy. It took maybe 2 or 3 laps for the... I started on hard wets. It took about 2 or 3 laps for them to kick in to be safe, but it was obvious Moses and maybe even Ezra were on soft wets because they were looking for water after about 2 laps, and so was Ian. I think me, Brad and probably Andres all went with hard wets, and then after about, I think it was about 6 or 7 laps it went to damp. I thought it was going to go to dry, but lucky enough it didn't. But it was slippy.
Well, congratulations for us broadcast in NAGP GT1 series. Great watching you, great win, and we'll catch you next week, David.
Thank you guys, and thanks for your time and a great job that you do.
Well, yeah, this is Jack Ivy and
Curtis Chandler
for NAGP.
Staying late for NAGP.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Dave.
We'll sign off. We'll see you next week, folks.
Toodaloo.